These people are the luckiest people in the world. Hello, everybody. You doing all right? It's good. It's good to see y'all out there. Uh, the shutdown. I'm in Seattle, Washington, the other Washington. And let's talk about the shutdown since I'm here for another night and I'll be home tomorrow to resume the Sirwalterj show. And some of you might be a little alarmed about what's getting ready to happen. Maybe to your there's a light above me. I'm trying to make it work out for us, but it ain't working out that way. Some of you might be alarmed by what it might do for your livelihood, because some of you may work for the government. I don't know. But even if you don't work for the government, you might be affected by the services that the government offer you based off of your taxes. And you might be a little delayed, or you may receive some things, but it may affect you because you may not get the help that you need. For people who are receiving checks, you may get the check, but you may have an issue, but the staff is not there because the essentials are there working, but the non-essentials are not. I have to fly out of here tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, 10:20 or something like that, boarding time, and the TSA are working on furlough. They're working right now for free. Yeah, when the government opens back up, they have to pay them the back pay, what have you. But that doesn't help people who have bills due right now. TSA workers, or TSOs, what they're sometimes called, receive between, $40,000-$50,000 a year, which is chump change in this economy. And so the shutdown that happened during Donald Trump's first administration went for, about 30 something days. And there were people who were working for the TSA who had to call off work because they couldn't afford to be going to work and not getting paid. And so they would call off work, call in sick, and then turn their cards on, put the Uber sticker in there, and go out there and Uber or Lyft or DoorDash or Amazon or something, because they could not afford. These government workers, many of them are operating check to check. You have to understand. And some of them, during the last shutdown, were standing in soup kitchen lines. They were at the Chicago Food Depository and things like that. We think because a person have a job, they are gainfully employed, that they are doing all right. But these people, many of them, by the thousands, cannot afford to miss one paycheck because they're operating paycheck to paycheck. Some of it is self-infliction, I will say, based off of poor management and not being good stewards of your finances, and so you don't plan for the future. You don't plan for something like this to happen, so you were not putting monies away, putting in $20 away per check and putting it in an emergency fund and build it up until you got a certain amount, and then you left that there until something like this happens. And that's one set of people. The other set of people are those who can't even afford to pull $20 away because they probably got themselves in such a bind. Maybe they filed for Chapter 13, Chapter 7, what have you. Their debt is consolidated, and every dollar goes to whatever. They got back pay, they got child support payments, and they're paying restitution. They could be paying anything, and they just can't afford to even peel little monies away. So they have to do side jobs to make it. It's rough. And when we were coming up, having a government job was something that you were good. You almost had to kill a man in order to be fired from a government job. It was quite secured, but now it's not secured. This shutdown was a early Christmas present for Donald Trump. He wanted this shutdown so bad because he could not do what he was trying to do with Elon Musk about slashing and going in there and messing with the Social Security. And Elon Musk and Big Balls were in there, in your funds, in your files, doing stuff, saying he was going to slash $3 trillion, $2 or $3 trillion off of the budget and the debt, and he hardly scratched the surface. And then, there's no honor among thieves, and so the both of them start fighting, and here we have what we have today. So now that the Democrats are being blamed for the shutdown, and the Democrats didn't do this, what's happening is that both parties have a problem. They have a problem. Congress is being paid right now. You all need to know. Congress's checks are not on hold. Yours is. Whether you work for the government or whether you might be affected by the government shutdown, Congress will continue to get paid no matter how long this shutdown is. I'm not gonna stay long, y'all, because they're gonna come and get me and take me to dinner or whatever they're gonna. My last day, I was with the Bernies, you all, and I had a wonderful time with them. Wonderful time. The Bernies are such wonderful, gracious husband and wife teams. Just so gracious, They remind me of Mom and Pa Kettle. We'll talk about that later. The Democratic Party was trying to fight for health care. You may call it Obamacare. It's the Affordable Care Act. And they were trying to fight for people who are paying less. There's some people who were paying, if they were paying $800, if they get rid of the help from the subsidies from the government, they're going to now be paying $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, $1,800. You understand? So the Democratic Party was fighting for the subsidies, and the Republicans were saying we can't afford it. We want to gut this. They've been under the Obamacare has been under attack ever since Trump got in office, and the Republicans have been trying to find a substitute for the Obamacare, and they can't find anything. Nothing will work. So they've been trying to gut it, and they are literally hurting the people who voted for them. The red states are going to hurt. The red states are going to hurt. So what Trump wants to do is get rid of what he called blue state or democratic institutions, services. He literally thinks that the government have a whole bunch of democratic services. And if there are democratic services, a whole bunch of them, they are affecting those who are in the red states. And it's like there's a strong delusion in you voters. Yeah, there's a strong delusion that you can't even see that things are being taken away from you and you can't see it. That's $200 less I get every month, Sheriff Bowman said. See what I'm saying? So, if history repeats itself, if history is any, thank you, Bonnie McCurry, thank you for that. I see what you did. There is precedence in all of this. When the shutdown happened, in a couple times, the three times that the shutdown happened, it happened what 6 times in 30 years, maybe more. It never affected the midterms. The GOP is typically held responsible for shutdowns. Republicans are typically to blame. All right? Typically. Historically, across the board, Republicans are blamed for shutdowns. Right now, the Republicans have everything. The Republicans are running the government. Miss Sharon, it's good to see you, Miss Sharon. And obviously, you're going to disagree with me. The Republicans are running the government. I have family members who's getting food stamps and able-bodied, and she's still living off of government. That they late. Okay, I'm not gonna fight with you today. Let me continue. The Republicans are running the government. They have the House. They have the Senate. They have the executive branch. They even have the Supreme Court, the judicial branch. The Republicans are running the government. You cannot dominate or run the government and say it's your fault. Do you see the delusion that some of you are up under by saying it's the Democrats' fault? How can it be the Democrats' fault when it's happening in your house? I just can't understand that. You're running it. You can't say, well, my workers did this. You know, it's my workers' fault. No, you're the CEO. This is your fault. So there's an old saying that says, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, what happens in the shutdown stays in the shutdown. What do I mean by that? When the shutdown happened in 2018 or somewhere around there, the Republicans dominated, heading to a midterm election. The government was shut down. What happened? You would think because the government shut down and people are losing their jobs and what have you, that was going to embolden the voters to vote in the midterm elections and get Democrats in there. Guess what? That didn't happen. When the midterms came, Republicans gained seats in both houses. Why? Because Americans can't remember. Beep. You can't remember nothing. You are like a man who gets filled with this lust, and then after he satisfies it, he walks away and it's like he don't remember what he just did. You go back and fall right back in her bed. You know, good one, she ain't good for you, but you have a temporary lapse of haughtiness. And then once it comes back, a day or two later, you go right back to the woman who you know is a Jezebel. That's America. She keeps sleeping with Ahab. Or Ahab keeps sleeping with Jezebel. You understand? So a midterm election is coming, and it may not affect nothing. Now, this might be a little different because there's a whole lot of stuff happening that Trump is doing that we've never seen in recent American history. We've never seen this before. So the Republicans are being blamed for the shutdown based off of the polls that were taken. They're being blamed for it, not the Democrats. You got a few people, 30% that was polled, blame the Democrats, but almost 50% of the Republicans are blamed. All right. 45%, somewhere around there. And it's like you don't remember history. I mean, it's a shame. What are you saying here? I wish I could peacefully share my story with Mrs. I am on Obamacare right now, and thankfully I'm not lazy or no crooked. I started working. Yeah, that's thank you for the actress. Listen, there are people who feel they are indebted to a governmental agency or political party or their pastor or their family member or some cause without allowing themselves to be free from this witchcraft's or this witch's spell that they might be under. There is a strong delusion on the American people. How do we know? Because there are thousands who had sold everything because they thought that Jesus was coming last week. They are delusioned in what they thought was going to happen based off of one man's vision. And once one man's vision went out there, people started having their own dreams and visions, and this delusion hit people. And this is a spiritual thing. When one strikes, it causes a ripple effect, a wave to happen. And people get hit by the waves. I was there on the riverfront. What is the name of that area where they throw the fish there in Seattle? And I was over there, Pike's Place Market, very famous here in Seattle. And I was looking at the Ferris wheel. For those of you who know her, I went through the popular places there. I went to the Seattle, the Needle, and I went over there to the river. And I saw the boats going by, and as the boats were, they looked like they were a mile away. The boats went by, and when the boats went by, ripples happened from the boat passing. Pikes Peak Market. Thank you, Joyce. Joyce, I need your mailing address. I have your P.O. box, but I need your mailing address because I want to send you something. I can't send it to a P.O. box. Email me. And the ripples left that boat, and the ripples kept going and didn't stop until it hit the coast where I was standing. That is what's happening in America. Is the ripple from one passing hits everybody. And some people are affected by that ripple. Others just ride the waves. Others just drown because the ripple is just the tide is just too high. So America is fighting over this one thing, but what's happening is the people that you voted for is playing with your livelihood. They are literally, here's the thing, it's not that they're playing checkers or chess. It's more like they are gambling with your livelihood. And what they're doing is they're kicking the can down the road. So who is going to be affected by it negatively more so is going to be your grandchildren. My grandchildren is going to feel this ripple in a horrible way because The threat of a government shutdown happens every year. And then, they got to vote on balancing or a budget extension or what have you. They do that every year. They got to vote, or the government gonna shut down government every year. And then every few years, they shut the government down. It's gonna keep happening. So this is the most divided America's ever been in politics. We spread. We're so spread. This is the widest spread we have ever seen in history. This is the widest spread. It's bad. All right. So when someone's asked, what do you think is going to happen next? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going to happen next because we've never seen this before. Russell Vought is the face of this shutdown. You're like, who is that? Russell Vought was one of the masterminds of Project 2025. Donald Trump says during his running, I don't know what 2025 is. I don't care to know what 25 is. I don't really care about that. He lied in the face of America to his people and to the opposite side. He knew he was lying when he said it. The people in his circle knew he was lying when he said it too. There's no honor among thieves, you need to know that. They knew what they were going to do. The people in that rally believed him. And now he is using the exact playbook and the signator and the producer of that playbook is the head of this shutdown. And now that the shutdown happened, he don't have to go through hoops to erase you. Depending on where you are in the government, he can now, by law, go in there with an axe. And here's the thing, Layla. He could literally, and he will, because he said he will, he's going to cut his own people's jobs. These people who down there in Alabama, those folk who's down there in West Virginia, they in the hollers over there, in the Carolinas, them Georgians down there, he getting ready to cut what they worked for. He already started with this big, beautiful bill. It's an ugly bill. And here's the sadness about the delusion is that they're going to feel that it's for my own good. And when you are a party player, you become tribal. And your tribality, or your tribalness, is going to go through your generational. It's going to wipe it clean. So what's affecting you right now is going to affect the next generation up under you, which will affect the next generation up under them. And you are allowing this to happen because you have brand loyalty. And brand loyalty is expensive. I only wear Vuvuzela shirts. That's the only one. Those are the only one that would, only because it has his name on it. You understand? Someone said when fascism comes to America, it's going to be wrapped in an American flag. And both parties hate when you use the word fascism to direct it towards them. They hate when you refer to them as Hitler. Obama was called Hitler, and the fascists for 8 years by conservatives, especially Fox News. They used it so much, that's all I heard. I lived in South Dakota for 4 years. Obama was a fascist in all of South Dakota. That's all I heard. They call him a monkey and an ape in front of me. I didn't vote for Barack Obama. But when you start calling a man out of his name and using racial slurs, that affects me, especially even when he's my color. You knew what you were doing. It was distasteful. So now the tables are turned, and now this man is being called a fascist and a Hitler, and he's offended. His people are offended. How dare you? The same ones who were calling Obama a Hitler are the ones who are saying you should not ever call this president a Hitler. That's offensive. Do you know what Hitler did? But if you rewind and go back to 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, the same ones called Obama a fascist and a Hitler. The hypocrisy that's in your party is astounding. So the enemy needs to criminalize despised others. So the president put an AI video on Truth Social of the majority leader and what's his name, Joaquin Jeffries. Did y'all see that? And they put a Mexican sombrero, is that what you call that hat, on him? Hakeem. Thank you, Pamela. Hakeem. Did y'all see that video? And it confused me because if you're going to be racist, can you make sense of your racism? Why would you put a sombrero on a black man? I just don't understand if you're going to be a racist, let it help me, let it make sense. It didn't make sense. And then he deletes it. Then he put up a video of his voice of some healthcare fix. I forgot the name of this thing. And it's an AI of his voice. And he thought he actually said these things, and he put it up on his Truth Social. And it's from the playbook of these, what's that group who believe that JFK is still alive? What's that group, y'all? So Trump finally takes that down after that. I guess his advisor told him, Mr. President, you didn't say these words, and we may not put that up there because that's, so he took it down. He does this every month. Med beds. Thank you, Cheryl. The med beds. That's his health care, the med beds. You can't make this stuff up. And the world is laughing at us. That movie, Carrie. They're all gonna laugh at you. That is America. They are laughing at us. World leaders are coming together privately and they are talking about America. We did this to ourselves. Timothy Jackson, we are a laughing stock. And here's the thing. One old man who traveled through the tunnel of dementia. One man is causing all of this. And the only reason why he's causing all this is due to the fear of your elected officials. Do y'all see how much of a children of the corn game this is? Where elected officials who are institutional officials, who've been in Congress for most of their lives, who are, some of them are constitutional experts. You understand? And they are in both houses. Talking about the Republicans. And then they voted for a man who is old and is disheveled and sometimes don't know where he is, stumbles and fumbles and all kind of stuff, says some of the wildest things. And they keep pushing him up because they are afraid of their jobs. That's the only reason why he's in power today, because they are afraid of their jobs. What's their jobs? Their jobs are they were elected by their constituents. The constituents said, if we want Trump, and these senators and representatives were like, well, you know, because some of these representatives and senators were running for the president of the United States, but their own constituents was like, we don't want you, we want that man, because he speaks our voice. And there was only maybe one major thing, one cause. He became the president over one major cause. And that cause were Mexicans, not immigration. That cause was Mexicans. I think y'all missed this. That cause was Mexicans, not immigrations. You know why I'm saying this? Because ICE is going from town to town. And if you look like a Mexican, they are picking you up. Y'all missing it. I think y'all are missing what I'm saying here. You know how many illegal Europeans that are here? How many illegal Irishmen, Italians that are here? So ICE was told to only profile people who look like a Mexican. So this is not about the border. This is about race. And you keep missing it. ICE is not going up north in Chicago. They're hanging around mid-city or the suburban areas where they know where the Mexicans work and live and play and go to school. ICE is not found in the Gold Coast areas of Chicago. You won't find them there. There are black people who are islanders who are not here legally that ICE will drive by, because the assignment is not to pick up black people or white people or people who look white. Pick up Mexicans. You're missing it. This has always been about race in America. Always. Always. So, Pete Hegseth, whatever his name is, decides to call in how many? 800 military high brass people. All these generals showed up yesterday, day before yesterday. And Pete got up there expecting for them to be clapping and applauding him. And he made a fool out of himself. And he told the generals that he didn't like fat generals. He talked about women. I mean, there is a syndrome called imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome cycle typically looks like this. It says being presented with a new project or task, experiencing feelings of anxiety, procrastinating over preparing, completing the project and feeling a brief. Okay, this is, let's see, let me go to another one that might be better explains this thing. Okay, imposter phenomenon or imposterism is a psychological experience in which a person suffers from feelings of intellectual and or professional fraudulence. One source defines it as the subjective experience of perceived self-doubt in one's ability and accomplishments compared with others, despite evidence to suggest the contrary. See me. You gotta see me. That's what they're saying here. And so he called the men and women who should be protecting us away from their jobs to sit in a room so that he can tell them, I don't like fat generals. And what we need to do is use our military might and go into the cities, American cities, and play games, war games. And his boss came behind him and says, this is the most quiet room I've ever been in my life, because he was looking for a political rally. The brass don't applaud. They don't make no noise. They are poised and dignified, and they are non-political. So they thought that they could manipulate the brass, and they sat there stoic. And it was offensive to Trump and Pete. And that imposter syndrome and that God complex of the president came out, and the scriptures told the prophet to make your faces flint because of don't worry about the people's faces. He said that for a reason. He didn't understand that they are non-political. The ignorance ran deep, y'all. Pete, it sounded like a closeted queen that was trying to deflect so we couldn't see exactly. Did y'all see that? It was horrible. And the president stood there and rallied around the mulberry bush over stuff. And those people left there wondering, why did we stop defending our country to sit here and be talked to like we were little boys? Imposter syndrome. Those who suffer from imposter syndrome often doubt their skills, talents, and accomplishments. They may have a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as frauds. Despite external evidence of their competence, those experiences this phenomenon do not believe they deserve their success or luck. They may think that they are deceiving others because they feel as if they are not intelligent as they outwardly portray themselves to be. Imposter syndrome is not a recognized psychiatric disorder and is not featured in the American Psychiatric Association's Diagnostic and Statistical, the DSM-5, nor is it listed as a diagnosis in the International Classification of Diseases. Thus, clinicians lack information on the prevalence and comorbidities and best practices for assessing and treating imposter syndrome. So you vote for them. No, Pete is not an elected official by the public. He was chosen by the president, so it is not direct, it's indirect. He was chosen by the president because those on Fox News were showing their loyalty to Trump, and so he repaid, because most dictators appreciate loyalty and then they reward them handsomely before they kill them. You need to know what I just said, the second part of what I said. Dictators reward loyalty and then they kill them. They could physically kill them, or they could kill their name. Trump showed that in his first administration. He rewarded the loyalty of these men and women, and then he started to fire them if they said anything negative towards him. Y'all understand? How many people can you name in his first administration that got fired or went to jail? So when Trump won, he started selecting men and women who were loyal to him while he was running. And those people were not qualified to serve as secretaries of the services that they render now, and they're not qualified. Pete is not qualified to even be around military at all. Kennedy is not qualified to be anywhere near medicine, nowhere. Go up and down his cabinet. These men and women are not qualified, but he selected people who were loyal to him. And these people have a problem with themselves. It's all about themselves. That's why Pete called those men from all over the world to come and sit, and so he can talk and say, I'm powerful. And it was a laughing stock. So who do we blame? Well, it's a perfect storm. It's kind of brilliant. The people selected who they wanted. They got their man. And that man selected his cabinet. And the people who had already selected their people in midterm elections, they're called senators and representatives, had to listen to the people. So when the man, the strong man, who's in the executive branch says, I want these Fox loyalists to be in my cabinet, no matter what their resume says, or the lack thereof. When it came time for the hearings, all of the Republicans let these men say whatever they wanted to say, because they knew before the hearing started, we have to approve these men and these women. Why? Because their leader, if he hear that any of us goes against his selection, offered our heads. This is not a democracy. It was never a democracy on purpose, because the founding fathers didn't want a democracy. It's supposed to be a republic, which is just as bad. You can manipulate the laws. If you got the right dictators in charge, you can manipulate the laws. So we call it a democratic republic. It's just as bad. How many of y'all upset? I'm not at home, so I can't do any of my bits. So the popular poem often comes up called First They Came. This is 1946 post-war, the confessional prose piece of German Lutheran pastor Martin Niemöller. I never could pronounce his last name properly. It indirectly condemns complicity of German intellectuals and clergy following the Nazis' rise to power and subsequent incremental purging of their chosen targets. Let's see if y'all remember the poem. First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists. I didn't speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me. There was no one left to speak out for me. That is what's going on right now in America and in these churches you all call. ICE came through my friend Chris Harris. Pastor Chris Harris runs a center in Bronzeville, Chicago, where my podcast kicked off 11 years ago this Monday. This Monday will be the 11th year anniversary of the Sirwalterj show, so stay tuned for that show. And it launched in Bronzeville, right up the street from where Pastor Chris Harris have immigrants and other people working and living and surviving. And ICE came yesterday and picked up a few of them and took them away. Even though some of them had papers, they took the papers, threw them in the truck, and shipped them off. And I saw the video, and I was quite disturbed by it. Pastor Chris Harris made an announcement, and he was distraught. And people in the comment section were saying, well, were they illegals? Were they illegals? Were they illegals? And they should have gotten them. And he addressed the illegal situation. You all, can I say something honestly to some of you as I shut this down and get ready for dinner? Let me be honest with you all, as honest as I possibly can be. Some of you Christians are the fakest fakes in the history of faketicity. You call yourself a Christian, but you have selective righteous indignation. Because, can I say something? Jesus said that the poor will be with you always. Judas got mad because the woman had used that priceless, that expensive oil and anointed his feet. And had the nerve to say, we could have sold it and we could have gave to the poor. Jesus didn't stop her from doing what she was doing, because he knew that Judas was a fraud. He hung around the disciples. And guess what, y'all? Scripture never said that he didn't do any of the miracles that the apostles did or the disciples did. Come close. Judas was among the 12 who did miracles. He was on the boat when Peter walked on water. He was the one of the 12 that was sent 2 by 2 who were doing miracles. Judas was. Judas was healing the sick. Judas. You don't ever think about that, do you? Scripture never said he didn't do any miracles. As a matter of fact, in the end time, the people who want to come to Jesus and say, did not we do these things? And Jesus never denied that they did it. They will be doing signs and wonders. But they are frauds because Satan can use them too. And God himself can allow this power to work in people. He can allow it and even give the power of people to do this. So he said, the poor will be with you always. So there are immigrants that are around us, and they've been around us forever. And you have never reached out to them. Never. You've never reached out to them. You've never tried to figure out, are they okay? I had to repent myself. I reached out to Chris Harris. I put a post on his wall. Some of you can go there and see the post. I commented. And I told him, you know, as a Christian, I was encouraged to stay out of social issues. Even though I was seeing Christians during the civil rights era marching, getting bills signed, laws changed. These were churches, y'all. Those people that was marching, you see in them civil rights films in the 60s and 50s, whatever, these were church folks. They weren't just strangers to God. They were worshipers. Something happened to the church. We made a little more money. We built bigger churches, and then we decided not to join the social fight. So we're focusing on whether they're here legally or not. Meanwhile, many of them can't eat. They're struggling, and some of them are dying right here in America. You drive right by them. You don't like them because you see them coming in your neighborhood in the city trying to help them out, but you won't. And you know what? God punished the children of Israel for doing the same thing that you're doing. Same thing. Almost every book in the Old Testament, major and minor, God keep talking about the stranger. He called them strangers. I wonder why he called them that. He mentioned widows, orphans, the poor. You got to take care of them. Then he made a deal with them. He says, when you give to the poor, you are lending to me. So God is saying, I pay the better dividends than any bank can. Any bank that you can go to, I pay the better dividends. And some of these banks in America are banks now because of they stole from you, you former Your forefathers were slaves. Citicorp, Citibank, Citicorp is one of them. They're in existence now because of slavery. It's a whole bunch of institutions, especially the PAWs, the predominant white institutions, colleges. I said PAW, I'm thinking about the church. The PWIs, I said PAW. Them apostolics. The predominant white institutions. Slave money. Chase Bank. Slave money, y'all. Just like when I went over there to London, England, and I walked in the Buckingham Palace. I saw that opulence. Beautiful. Gold. Gold, real silver. Paintings that are worth millions. And the first thing that came to my mind was stolen. The colonizers stole all this. India, they stole it from Africa. Stolen. You go to Germany and you say this, and go to these banks, these offshore banks, and they stole them from the Jews during the Holocaust. Stolen. They want to remove this history from you. Yeah. There are no illegal people, but there are many illegal laws. Laws that dehumanize. Where'd it go? Your neighbor, dehumanize a lawgiver and their followers. Melvin Cody, it's good to see you, man. Remember that I said, I don't know when you came in here, Melvin, remember when I said that the United States specifically was not created as a democracy, but they call it a republic, to the republic for which it stands. And then as they were writing in the Bill of Rights, that introduction, that letter to the king, a grievance letter to the king, and how the res publica people, these laws are immoral. People are free to roam wherever they are based off of personhood and humanity. God created the heavens and the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world, and then they that dwell in. Man decided to gerrymander, draw lines in districts, geographically, boundaries, accords, as we see the Abraham Accord that Trump was trying to pronounce. Boundaries to protect and deflect. But the very nation who drew these boundaries to try to deflect or keep out got that land by pushing his way in and pushing the people who were there out and put them on a trail called tears and kept pushing west to manifest destiny, saying that God himself had deemed it our duty to go this way. And this is why I said if fascism come to America, it will be draped in the American flag. Hatred is always draped in an American flag. The American flag is a representation of hatred, colonization, takeover, annihilation, genocide, eugenics, xenophobia. That flag represents so much hatred. both inside this country and outside. That's what it is. And then we hide behind this God figure and we put it on our fiat. In God we trust, which is a lie. America don't trust in God. They trust in might, power, prowess, that dollar, which is worth nothing, because the dollar itself is backed by nothing but a promise. At one time, it was worth something because it was tied to what God created from the earth, which was gold. Once they removed it from that last chance of it being worth something, it became worth nothing, and now they print it every day. They just print it. They just print it. So Melvin Cody is correct. As controversial as he is, it's difficult for me to disagree with a lot of things he says. He says it in a way that may shock you, but can you disagree with it? When you are critical thinkers, and if you're not a critical thinker, it's difficult to watch the Sirwalterj show because the bunkers are very critical thinkers. It's difficult to watch this show because we have a few people in the comment section who are emotional and they don't hear anything we're saying. They are locked and loaded on one man, one party, one goal, one enemy. They're locked right there. And so cognitive dissonance is the cancer in this person's mind, and it's growing. The cells are growing and dividing. And some of you are at stage 4 of cognitive dissonance. And then your confirmation bias is kicking in, and it becomes the icing on the cake, and there's almost no hope for you except God himself heal you of this disease. You can't hear a word I'm saying. The day is going to come when God is going to break down these boundaries and borders, and you will be able to walk and fly wherever you want to go. But until that time, you have to obey the law, albeit the law might have many flaws. The Apostle Paul told us to obey them. Jesus says, render to Caesar what's Caesar's. Because that coin belonged to him because he minted it. But he says, this kingdom, my kingdom, the kingdom that he was speaking of, is not of this what? What Jesus was trying to tell the people is that you're living in this world, you're not of it, but because you're living in this world, man created it, you've got to walk the tight line with man. Do whatever you need to do to live peaceably among these people. He said, but my kingdom is not of this world. So, when Jesus was teaching, he was teaching about the kingdom of God and the kingdom of heaven. He says, don't worry about what's going on here. You just live peaceably with these people and do whatever you can to feed the poor and the hungry. Tend to them, even though they're strangers. They may be disobedient to the law, but they're here, and because they're humans, they have a right to eat. Take care of them. You understand? The Christians today focus is heaven. But heaven is not your goal. Because when your goal is on heaven, You don't care what's going on down here with the people. You just trying to get the hell out of here. You are a lazy, shiftless Christian. You're no good. And you in church talking about I'm in the army of the Lord. No, you're not. You haven't even got to boot camp yet. You too busy trying to get out of here. That's why that rapture mess happened last week, and all these folks was they was in the backyard waiting on God to take them out of here. They were selling everything. Instead of them witnessing to the people, instead of them spending their last moments trying to win as many as they could, like Schindler's List, they said, screw all of y'all, I'm out of here. That's why Jesus said, I'm not telling y'all nothing. I don't even know when it's happening. Because you lazy. You just want to leave. So when you know you're getting ready to take a train out of here, your mind that's all your mind is on. But he said, the kingdom is on earth as it is in heaven. Notice what he said. My kingdom is not of this world. It's the difference between world and earth. World is the system. The earth is terra firma. The earth is the creation. That's why he said the earth is the Lord. He didn't say the world is the earth is the Lord. The earth is the Lord. Then he said, the world and they that dwell therein. Notice he first said the earth is the Lord. And everybody in it, including all of his system, God is the head of all of that. But when you all, if you believe in the rapture, is taken away, heaven is not your home. Y'all sang it in your songs. Heaven is my goal. Heaven ain't my goal. Earth is my goal. I may get to heaven if I believe in the rapture, but I ain't gonna be there for a couple years. And then I'm gotta come back to the same people who I ran away from. I gotta come back down and live the rest of my life here judging these very people I ran away from, including the angels. Does that make any sense? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. So when you are storing treasures in heaven, he's talking about the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom of heaven is coming down. It's coming down, 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 down. Y'all might have missed this kind of teaching. You might have missed it. I went long, y'all. I went long. I went an hour. Let me. My people are probably downstairs say, "Hey, I guess you go on and preach. You go on and preach." Any questions? Any concerns? Yeah, they're downstairs. All right. I'm gonna spend. Well, let's see. What time is it? I can't be late tonight. I want to get to bed. I want to get to bed early because I got to be on the shuttle at 8:30 in the morning. It's a 4-hour flight. I hate those. Hate them. But then this is the Pacific Northwest, and so it's far from Chicago. I was there late. Rogers, you were late. Elaine said, now you want to do a Q&A. Nancy, I got that off my chest. Bunkers, is good to see y'all, by the way. I know you all was like, what is he saying? Is he okay? Elizabeth, blessings to you. Good to see all of you all. Jimmy, good to see you. Luann, all my friends are here. Those of us left behind, we are not going to let you all be. Melvin, I'm sick of that man. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of him. All right. I can't wait to get back home so that I can get back to my Patreon folks. And it seemed like every time I was trying to get back to Patreon, I had to fly out of town. I'd be forgetting. I got. So, you all, if there's time, I want to do a separate Seattle bunkers, meet the bunker, the extended version, Seattle. If I can get it done by Saturday, it'll be up by Sunday night. We can have a movie night for Seattle. I think I'm gonna do it this. I think I'm gonna do it like this. So, where am I gonna go next? Not immediately. No, I may wait till January to do. Okay, I may wait till January to get back to visiting some of you. Not like I did over the summertime. All right, because there's some other places that I didn't get a chance to go for some of you. But when I come to your city, I need you to take me all over the place so I can make my movie. I got some good shots in Seattle. If you've never been to Seattle, let me tell you, I didn't know. Seattle is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Wow. It's very romantic in certain places, I will say that. But it's breathtaking, and God showed out in Seattle. I mean, the greenery, the water, the trees. I mean, even the rain is beautiful. It is. It's and I need 3 days to be here. I need 3 extra days to do more stuff. I just was walking down there, Pikes, and I said I need 2 more days here, and and my phone was at 19% battery, and I still had to catch an Uber, and that stuff started draining the battery. I'm like, okay, if I stay down here any longer, I'm not gonna have a phone. I won't be able to call Uber back to my hotel. I'm stuck. So I had to leave early, but it was like, I want to stay down here forever. Everything is fresh there. G. Bernie, you didn't tell me how fresh it was. I mean, everything was fresh. They told me to try the clam chowder and the fish and all this. I mean, everything was fresh. Oh my God. Vancouver, Canada is nicer. Well, I got to get up there. Yeah, sleepers in Seattle. Nathan Grant. I was by the Ferris wheel. Those of you who've been to Seattle, and I was hovering over the sea, the river. What is that river called, Melvin? What's that sea, that river that surrounds Seattle? And there I was looking over there, and Nathan, immediately I saw Sleepers in Seattle. Because I was by myself. I didn't have nobody with me all day. And I'm looking over there, and the soundtrack to Sleepers in Seattle started ringing in my head. And I got a little sad. I was pathetic. A little tear coming down there. I was like, I think I'm Sleepers in Seattle. And Tom Hanks, I felt like I was Tom Hanks, Gail. I was Tom Hanks. I was like, oh my God. And I almost picked up the phone to call the radio station. I almost called. Hello. Yeah, I can't sleep. Talk to me. Where are you? I'm by the river. You are? Yes. Who are you with? I'm with no one. What you wear? All right. I'm gonna go, y'all. Take care of yourselves. Oh, you were forced in the bunker movie. Yeah, it was pathetic. Come to Seattle before you die, y'all. Come to Seattle and just walk around. September is the best time to come, I heard. September is the best time to come to Seattle. Make sure it's not raining that day. Make sure no clouds in the sky. And come down to Pikes and just walk around. And you'll be glad you did. Tell them Sirwalterj Jones sent you. I forgot the name, but I will Trump and rename it. Mel. Call it Melvin Cody. What you call it? Melvin Cody River. That man, something wrong with him. Where's your wife? She need to Lakata. What you need to come get him. I'm sick of him. I'm godly sick of him. So God, we thank you for your presence. We thank you for your love. We thank you for the joy that overtakes our souls in the midst of trouble that we're going through right now in this shutdown. I pray for those who are getting ready to lose part of their livelihood. Stretch it. Stretch it, God. Those who are losing, stretch it. Stretch it out until this thing is over so that they can continue to feed their families and pay their bills and focus on you. Allow this to be an opportunity for men to look to you because it seems like when problems come our way, that's when we think about you. I hope that it sticks this time. These are troubled times, not just here, but all over the country, the world, that is. And our enemies are ready to strike. Except you keep the city, they labor in vain. Give us the strength to go through. While boys run our nation, give us strength. There's just a few remnants that are left who call on your name. Help us to spread this gospel to those who don't know you. And we vow to take care of those who are here. Even if they're here illegally, they still have a right to eat and to live. Until all this is sorted out, I will do my best, God, to stop ignoring these people and not looking for their papers, check their receipts and their passports, but to check their bellies to see if there's any nourishment in their bellies. Give us the strength and the provision to feed them. So we thank you for the men and the women who are in these cities doing whatever they can to do what the scripture says. I support them. So we love you, God. And we sure do give your name the praise in the midst of all this. In Jesus' name. Amen and amen. Good night to you all. I'll see you back at the Sirwalterj office tomorrow night, or Saturday that is. Saturday is Luann. I think it's communion. Am I right, Luann? Communion, Saturday night at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we'll be back in Sunday school. Because tomorrow when I get in, it'll be 5, 6 o'clock, and I'm probably going to have too much jet lag to do anything. So I'll meet you Saturday. All right. I love y'all. And we'll see you again. Pray for a safe flight back home tomorrow morning. We'll talk soon. For those of you who gave in the CashApp, thank you. I see you. I see what you all have been doing. Because Seattle is expensive. I had a burger that cost me $30 just for the burger. So thank you. I'm glad I didn't rent a car because gas is $5.20. So you Chicagoans who are crying over that $3, come to Seattle. It's $5.20 per gallon. Don't come here. Good night. Yes, $30. Downstairs. CashApp.